profoundness of the future. This is the way.
This is the way. Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of the Dark Watch Clan. I am Frank Angel. Today we are going to talk about the significance of the Mines of Mandalore. In the beginning of the episode, Din Djarin and Grogu venture into Tatooine to go see Peli in hopes that she might have a replacement part for the droid IG-11. Now let us not forget that IG-11 self-destructed in the last episode of Season 1 of The Mandalorian. And the reason why he of course wants to put IG-11 back together is because he has full and complete trust in him to be able to explore the mines of Mandalore. Well, it doesn't seem to pan out the way that he expects it when Peli asks the Jawas about the replacement part, and well, it's impossible to find at this point. So she offers R5 to him and tells him, hey, you know, R5 can pretty much do the same thing, and he can go co-pilot, he can do all these fancy things. Well, R5 is not too thrilled. Peli encourages R5 to go and pretty much is telling him, hey, this is your time to shine. For those of you who do not know who R5 is, he's actually a legacy character. He was in A New Hope. He was the droid that fell apart next to R2-D2 and C-3PO when the Jawas were trying to sell them to Luke Skywalker and his uncle. Now we all know that Luke Skywalker and his uncle did not go for R5 and instead went with R2-D2. So off to Mandalore they go. On their way to Mandalore, Din Djarin begins to teach Grogu an important lesson on Mandalore culture, the Mandalorian system. We learn that Din Djarin has never been to Mandalore, that he grew up in the moon of Concordia. Let's not forget that earlier on in the episode, Din Djarin shows Grogu where Kalevala is, which would be another planet in the Mandalorian system, also known as Bo-Katan's home. This is going to be a very important key in this episode. So they get to Mandalore, and the first thing that Din Djarin does is send R5 into the atmosphere to get samples of the air to see if it's breathable, to see if it's even safe for human life to set foot on it. R5 is very skeptical about going into the atmosphere to check things out, and is pretty much trying to tell Din Djarin that he doesn't want to go. Din Djarin replies, I wasn't asking you to, and drops him on the ground. At this point, R5 starts to head into the cave that leads into Mandalore. After a little while, the tracker on R5 becomes inactive on the map, and Grogu is pretty much telling Din Djarin to see what happened to him. He's worried about him. So Din Djarin discovers that after pressurizing his helmet to be able to be safe in the atmosphere, he realizes that the air is breathable, and he goes to look for R5. After searching for R5, Din Djarin discovers R5 on the ground, where we come to find out that R5 was attacked by Alamites. Now, for those of you who don't know what Alamites are, they are a caveman-like creature. The only difference is that these are not human at all. We find out that they have been slowly populating the destroyed Mandalore. At this point, Din Djarin proceeds to take out the Alamites one by one with his Darksaber, saving R5. Din Djarin and Grogu move on further along. On their way to the living waters of Mandalore, they encounter another attack. This time it is a spider-like droid that captures Din and pretty much puts him in a cage where he connects him to tubes to extract his blood, and at this point Grogu tries to find a way to get him out, and Din Djarin tells Grogu, get to Bo-Katan. At this point, Grogu speeds out of there as fast as he can to the N1. On his way out of Mandalore, Grogu encounters an attack by an Alamite, where at this point Grogu is using the Force to defend himself to knock the Alamite out of his way. Grogu then proceeds to enter the Naboo N1 starfighter and instructs R5 to fly him to Bo-Katan. R5 then proceeds to fly Grogu to Kalevala, where Bo-Katan lives. When Bo-Katan sees the Naboo N1 starfighter arriving to her base, her droid instructs her that they have an unscheduled visit, and she seems very irritated that she thinks that Din Djarin is coming back to bother her again. And well, she's saying, let's get rid of them once and for all. As Bo-Katan steps out of her home, she says, I thought I told you to leave me alone. Grogu opens up the canopy to the N1 and she notices that Din Djarin is not there. She asks him what happened to him. Grogu cannot communicate at this moment, so Bo-Katan has her droid download the astromech to find out where Din Djarin and Grogu went. Now at this point, Bo-Katan already knows where exactly they were, and so she gets in her gauntlet ship and heads on to Mandalore along with Grogu and R5. Now when they get to Mandalore, Bo-Katan asks Grogu to show her the way to Din Djarin. Keep in mind that at this point, Grogu is scared due to the fact that he was attacked by the Alamites and Din Djarin's situation being captured. Bo-Katan proceeds to tell Grogu, I know you are scared, but I need you to show me where he is. With the strength that Grogu's got left, he moves on forward and proceeds to show Bo-Katan the way where Din Djarin is being captured. On their way to Din Djarin, Bo-Katan and Grogu encounter an attack by an Alamite. Now I gotta admit, these Alamites have totally populated the destroyed Mandalore. They are hiding in pretty much any corner that you can think of. And well, she explains to Grogu after defeating the Alamite that these were creatures that were pretty much hiding in the darkest areas of Mandalore. Bo-Katan and Grogu find Din Djarin, where he's still in the same situation in a casket-looking cage, still plugged into the tubes draining his blood. Bo-Katan approaches Din Djarin, where Din Djarin tells her to look behind her, where she starts getting into a battle against this major threat. Now I gotta say, Bo-Katan and the Darksaber are very in tune with each other. Even though in the past she didn't win it fairly, she definitely has a strong connection to the Darksaber. After Bo-Katan defeats this major threat, she then proceeds to help Din Djarin out of the situation that he is currently in. Din Djarin wakes up to a campfire made by Bo-Katan, where she is preparing a popular Mandalorian soup for Din Djarin and Grogu. At this point, she tells him that after he starts to feel a little bit better, she'll help him to her ship. And well, he replies, I appreciate your help, but I'm not leaving with you until I get to the living waters of Mandalore. She replies to Din Djarin that she will take him to the living waters of Mandalore, since there's a chance that he might not find them himself. Along their way to the living waters of Mandalore, Bo-Katan pretty much gives Din Djarin a tour of Mandalore, telling him about how beautiful it used to be, and they tap into a brief conversation about her dad, and Din Djarin tells her that he would have loved to have known him, and she tells him that he died saving Mandalore, where he stops and looks at her and says, this is the way. And I don't know about everybody else, I'm pretty sure we are all seeing this, but it totally looks like Bo-Katan is crushing on Din Djarin. Let's fast forward to the living waters of Mandalore, where she helps him finally find them, and now she reads to him a plaque that's on a statue about the great Mandalore. Din Djarin begins to remove pieces of his armor and begins to step forward into the living waters of Mandalore, swearing to the creed once again. Now, this is where it gets interesting. As soon as he says the last line of the creed, he sinks to the bottom of the living waters of Mandalore. Now, from what we understand, they didn't used to be that deep, so the bombs might have had something to do with the living waters of Mandalore becoming so deep. At this point, Bo-Katan jumps in, going after Din Djarin, where she is able to find him at the bottom of the living waters of Mandalore. Now, when she is able to get a hold of Din Djarin, on her way up, she happens to see something that we are all still in shock. Now, yes, she saw a mythosaur, and we are all still, I'm pretty sure, still trying to take in the fact that the mythosaur lives, the legend lives. I will be talking more about this on another video. Comment your thoughts on this. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Your subscription will be appreciated. I am Frank Angel of the Dark Watch clan. This is the way, and we'll see you next time.